All right, checking the audio here. Checking the audio. Make sure everybody can hear. Should be about a 25-second delay. All right. Get an alert out. Let everybody know what we're doing. Okay, apologize, guys. Just getting set up here. Give me one moment. Getting everything set up. And you're going to be going live here in just 2 seconds. I'm sending a couple alerts out to my members, let them know. And we are going live here on the YouTube. Perfect. Haroon, you got it. There it is. Frank. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Wonderful, wonderful. Appreciate y'all being here. So what we're going to do today is our first YouTube live session. And I'm just going to kind of walk through a couple of setups. I'll show you some trades I'm taking. We're not going to hold anything back today. I will show what we've got working current positions and some trades I'm in right now as well. One we're looking at right now is UNH. So this is United Healthcare Group, and this has just got a nice, really tight pivot setup right in here we're watching. And I just picked up about, not a lot, like 40 shares, but again, it's a very expensive stock. So, 40 shares, about a $20,000 position in this. But I'm able to take a larger than average or, a larger position on stocks that are setting up in a really tight range like this, because we only need to risk, in this case, about 3% on the position to see if it's going to break out and run from here. So with a 3% risk, even putting $20,000 in the stock, you're only talking about maximum, $600, something like that. So not a big risk for the size position we're taking. Couple others, another setting up really tightly here, RPRX. This is Royalty Pharma. I got about 500 shares of this. Just bought. Now, anytime you see these charts, heads up, the white line, and I'll kind of explain what we're looking at here, but the white line I draw on this chart, that's my profit trigger. That's like where the resistance is, where the breakout I'm looking to buy from. So when you see that white line there on the chart, that's where I'm either buying, considering buying, or waiting for the stock to get above. Okay. So in the case of RPRX, I am in for, let's see, I bought at 44.07. So like literally right here, it broke out just a little bit. See, it went from 44, up, a percent or so. So nothing really, and just pulling right back in. So it hasn't moved yet. It's right there where I bought the stock. But I'm trading this one very tightly. You don't need to risk a lot of money when you get the right setup. And I think that's where a lot of traders, especially newer traders, are screwing up is they're buying stocks. They're either not using a stop loss at all, which is just, it's insane to me. It's like driving a car with no brakes. It's fine until you need them. And then when you suddenly need to stop, things end really badly. Well, it's the same thing with stocks, but the other thing is they're risking way too much for what they make, right? They're risking 10%, 20%, and they're trying to make 4 or 5%, and it's just not a lot. So really quickly, if y'all would tell me where you're from. Let's Rune, I see you in here. Derek, Frank, perfect. Let me know where you guys are from, where you're watching from, what you guys are trading. We'll take a look at anything you want to, and I'll show you some of my favorite stocks as well, some positions I'm in. I'm going to show you my account, what I'm buying right now. This is my Fidelity account. If you can see down there at the bottom, you see I've got just like 5 positions on. Some of these I've been selling out of. So I'm down to a small position, MGPI. I'm down to about half my original CWEN. MUSA, I've got some. So I got around $1,300 or so in profits on these trades. About $300 in the day. Not a lot, and not near fully invested on these. Some of them I've taken off, so we'll kind of cover those as we go here. But where are you guys from? Eric from John Orlando, perfect. Frank looking at Bitcoin, the NASDAQ. All right, Cy from Indiana. Wonderful, wonderful. Everybody, let me know where y'all are from. I see some people kind of poured into the room here. Just wanted to have a nice little live session today, go over a few things, talk about what we're seeing in the market, and look at some of your stocks as well. And anything you guys want to take a look at or stocks you want to focus on, feel free to just type those in there and we'll be glad to look at those. Jay from Reno, Stanchi from Atlanta. Oh, Boss from Holland. Wonderful. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Very cool. Okay. All the way from Germany. That's fantastic. Augusta, home of the Masters. Very nice, Jack. Wyoming, Hudson, Santa Rosa, California, Clay, Michigan, Naples. All right, so we're kind of from all over here. That's wonderful. How's everybody's trading going? We're making some money today, this week. Birmingham. I was actually born in Birmingham. You're in CEIX and PBF. Okay, Leopold looking at Tesla. I've got 6 computer screens here, and so sometimes things get kind of lost in the wayside. I'm trying to find my platform. It has now jumped out of the way. Texas Fair. Okay, so let's look at a couple of things here. This is RPRX, in a stock I just talked about. I've got a position in this. I've got around 500 shares. I bought right here around the $44 mark. And how many of you in here are part of my Alpha Stock service or my Stealth Trade service? How many of you guys know kind of the bread and butter setup I look for? Should have some probably good number of members in here. You guys, this chart's not going to surprise you at all. So you see, this is the move we really like to see for a potential breakout. And we're always looking for is stocks that are setting up in a position where we have the highest probability that's about to go higher, and we can put the least amount of risk possible. That's really what it's all about. You want to lose very little when you're wrong, and you want to make a good chunk when you're right. So this is RPRX, and I don't know what has happened. I cannot find my brokerage account here. I don't know where it is. Somehow it's landed like on a different page. It's like hidden in the background somewhere. And I don't know. Anybody know how to move a window? I have no idea. About 5 screens and it's on none of them. All right. Well, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to Google this here. Okay, well, I guess I'll have my do it on the web-based version here. No problem. Okay. And I apologize, guys. My first YouTube live, so we're having to see. I'm gonna work out a few kinks in here. It's harder than it sounds. It's showing desktop 4. Yeah, I mean, I know we're streaming this one. I can't find it literally on my computer. So that's what's weird. Like it's open somewhere, but it's not. It's the problem when you run a whole bunch of monitors here. Okay, so anyway, I'll just show you this. Let's see, brokerage, making sure it didn't show anything. All right, I think it's fine. So these are the current positions I'm in. Not a lot, only holding about 5 stocks. You guys know me. I don't like to hold 20, 30, 40 different positions. I don't think there's any need to. The goal is to concentrate, right? When you get a good winner, you want to have a lot of money in it. If you got 2% of your account, the stock is up 50%, like, wow, my account's up 1%. If you got a quarter of your account, you're doing well. So this is just one of my trading accounts. This is my trading account here at Fidelity. It's around 100 grand here. See them in a couple. MGPI up around 10% on. I've sold out most of that. So you see, so I make this bigger for you. You can see there, it's only a $3,500 position. The reason being, I took a much larger position, sold a bit on the way up. Same thing with CWEN. Bought at 38, sold a quarter or a third of it at 40. Now I've got 2/3 of it left, up around $900 on this one. Murphy USA trying to get going. And the larger positions I've taken here, RPRX and UNH, kind of like within 1% of where I bought. So neither of those have run yet. I'm going to kind of walk you through what those are, why I like them. So let's start with RPRX. And by the way, I've got about a 30-second delay here. So if you got a question, shoot it in there. I'll be glad to answer as we get to it. So let's take a look at RPRX. So this is my buy line right in here. Notice the setup, exactly what we like to see, kind of the shallowing where it pulls back and tightens and tightens and tightens. And what this shows us is that we are working through the sellers in a stock. So for example, when you get the big move up, people bought here at 36, suddenly it's at 45, they're taking some profits, it comes down, they go up, take a little more profits, it comes down, and there's people up here. Just imagine like 10,000 people standing at this white line going, I want to sell it at 44. And so it hits up there. It's these pending sell orders. They sell, all the selling pushes it back. Buyers buy it back up. So now there's only maybe 7,000 people there. A few more sell, comes back up. Now there's maybe 5,000, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2. And you just want to work through those sell orders. What that does is create a situation where there is very little supply remaining in that stock. So in other words, just there's not many shares for sale. People aren't there trying to dump this stock. And so when you have a stock, there's no more supply. You've worked through all the sellers and demand increases, and you get this powerful kind of breakout run right here as it explodes higher. And it's not going to be to the penny. I mean, it may go half, 50 cents higher, $1 higher, pull back a little bit in there, but this is kind of what we're looking for. So that's RPRX. I'll show you another one, UNH, the other big position I'm in. I mean, look at just a textbook pattern here where you've got a stock, just a big clear uptrend, pulls down, holds a 200-day, comes back, and tight until it is just so quiet. I mean, look at this action here. This is a daily chart. So the last 1, 2, 3 days, it's been in a 1% range. Okay, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to get really tight. Look at the volume down here. See how as you approach the breakout level, you'll see the trading volume decrease, and often substantially, to where there's just almost no volume those last couple of days before the breakout. That's exactly what I want to see. So you either, wait till it makes a new high and buy it there. I bought it here, and I've got a stop at 529, which is just below this most recent swing low right here. So this is my stop loss, where if it goes down here, it's where I'd be selling. This is where I'm going to buy, or where I bought the stock. And so what am I risking on this? I'm only risking, 2.8%. And on a stock trade, that's incredibly low. I mean, how many 2.8% losses can you handle before your account's in trouble? A lot. I mean, lots and lots of them. So this is really what it's all about. So, I mean, even if you only made 6 or 7% on this trade, which wouldn't be a lot, you're still making twice what you risked. And that's what it's all about, keeping those losses very small so you get a couple of good hits. and suddenly you're doing very well, and your account balance is going to grow very quickly by approaching it that way. Someone's saying hit Alt Tab to see the open tabs. Yeah, I'm on a Mac, so I don't think that works on this one. Oh, Clive was saying dividends tomorrow, RPX. Yeah. All right, so let's look at a couple others we're in here. A couple of stocks I'm liking. MGPI, this stock I own. You see the breakout. This one was kind of interesting. It forms what we call a base on base. So here's that pattern I like to see, the kind of tightening, 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 boom. There's the breakout, right? Clear as day, around $89. What was going on April, May, June, in this last part over here? What was the market doing all in this period? It was getting taken out of the woodshed. It was getting beaten to death, right? We're in a nasty, nasty bear market. So the fact that the stock didn't surge from here is okay. It just tells me, hey, the market was holding it back. But hell, even in a bear market, I mean, what's the index done this year? Down 30% or so from the peak. Look what MGPI's done. It's gone, straight up, albeit gradually. But this is the kind of chart you want to see to make big money. You want to see stocks that are very strong in a weak market, because in a strong market, they're going to do just what this one is doing right now and accelerate much more rapidly. As you see MGPI, up 18% in just the last 3 weeks. What is MGPI? It's an alcoholic spirit stock. They make booze, right? It's a recession-proof business, but it's not normally a big growth area. But you look at the stocks setting up and showing strength in a weak market, and you see this one formed a breakout. It held back here because the market. We got another one just to see the pullbacks and shallower. Look at that nice tight little area right there. Here's the breakout at 104, which is where I bought. Now, this one kind of went up, pulled back a little bit, but quickly accelerating back higher, and is now up here making new all-time highs in the stock. So that's MGPI. I've sold 2/3 the position, currently in about 1/3 of it. One more we're in. We took this in the alpha stocks. It's in Murphy USA. The stock finally starting to get some legs. Hasn't done a lot yet, but once again, you see the pattern where stock comes up, tightens, and then really tight right there in that last little bit. You see that? Now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, basically 3 weeks of trading days in there. And the stock has stayed in that tight little, 3.5% range. At the same time, you see volume kind of dipping down, not substantially, but right here, notice it's much lower volume in that tightening phase. And that's what we want to see. We had a couple of big accumulation days, the big green volume bars. The one big nasty down volume bar we had here, the stock responded by immediately spiking higher. So all good. Again, all we're trying to do is identify stocks that are being accumulated by big institutions. We're looking for the power moves, the stocks that are being bought in mass actively by the big players, by the big funds, the mutual funds, the hedge funds, institutional guys, because they're the ones that move stock prices. And so by doing that, we're always going to be into stocks where they have a high likelihood of kind of bailing us out, so to speak, and having that buying pressure before them. So for those of you guys, how many of you in here are active traders, actively buying and selling stocks? Tell me what you guys are normally doing. What's your average risk like? What's your average loss like? Do you know the numbers? Tell me where you guys are. And a lot of people I've found don't track this stuff, even though they should. They don't track their numbers. They don't know how much they lose on average. They don't know how much they win on average. When you don't have that information, it makes life a little bit more, it makes your trading a little bit more difficult, because you don't know when you're having an above average gain. You don't know, if on average you make 40%, then you're comfortable taking 10, 15% risks on stocks. If your average gain is 8 or 9%, you don't need to be risking more than 4 or 5%. So it's not saying you're going to get stopped out all the time. You may avoid stocks that are very volatile. You can't risk 4 or 5% on. You may stick to stocks like MUSA here, where you can get away with risking, 3.8% on. I'll show you another one I'm in. This is CWEN. CWEN. And Clearway Energy is a solar energy stock, or an alternative energy stock, excuse me. Alternative energy stock, alternative energy red hot right now. And if you don't know, how many of you members, you guys know that I focus on certain sectors, certain areas of the market, right? It's not because I just like these stocks and I abandon all the other ones. I'm following the money. Every time, every stock, every pick, every sector, I'm following the money. Stocks move in groups. The first half of this year, where everything got hammered, what stocks went up? Oil stocks, marine shipping stocks, fertilizer stocks. Why? Oil price went up. We had supply chain issues, and the overseas shippers were going to charge 10 times their average rate. There's a fertilizer shortage because of what's going on with Russia and certain chemicals not being around. And so the fertilizer price went to the roof. That's the areas that were strong. So any of the stocks in there did very well. Well, what are the areas of the market that are strong right now? I'll go ahead and tell you. It's biotech stocks, all the medical industry, managed care, pharmaceuticals, all that's really strong. Solar energy, alternative energy stocks, those are very strong. And even like super retail mini market type stocks, that's another sector showing strength. So if I'm focusing on there, well, here's a stock in the alternative energy space. All right. This is Clearway Energy, CWEN. And look at the pattern. Can you guys going to see that pattern I'm seeing? I've drawn a line of where I bought, and look at why I bought there. You got to watch the pullbacks. Okay. 21%. 18%, 9%. And look at this nice little tight one right here. See that? That final little pullback was only 3%. What is that showing us? It's showing us that we've worked through that supply. There are sellers there. People want to sell the stock. If more people want to buy it than sell it, it's going up. More want to sell than buy, it's going down. So there were sellers here. And then there were a few more and a few more and a few, but we worked through them. And notice once we worked through those sellers, once people were done selling the stock, look at how easily the stock just has glided higher with absolutely no retracements. Okay. So I bought this stock at, let's see, 40, where did I get this? Is it 41 now? I bought it at 38.65. So I actually got it a little bit late. I got it right here. All right. Can y'all see that? That's where I bought 38. Well, it's a little high. Let's see here. I bought right there. All right. Now I was a little bit late. I'll be honest. I should have grabbed this one, and I'm very picky about this, so you don't have to worry about it. I mean, I should have bought right here at 38.20, so 40 cents lower, whatever. But see how for months, for the entire year, this thing's been choppy. And when we buy, we get the only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight up day phase. And as you see in this trade, there it is. I got, I bought at 38.65. See that right there? That's my cost basis. I bought 450 shares. I sold 150 of them and got up over 40. So I took in, something like $200-300 in profit to finance the risk. Now I've got 300 left, up around $866 on those right now. And in fact, I'll probably go ahead and sell another third. Well, let me just sell a couple more. Sell another 100 of these. Take a couple more off the table. And this is how I like to do it. I like to just sort of sell into strength. Let's see, I'm down to 300. Let's just take another 50 of these off to trim some. Again, there's nothing complicated about it. We're just going to sell 50 shares. I normally do this on the app, so forgive me. Oh, there's the order type. We're just going to sell them at the market, 50 shares, market, put another $2,000 in the account. Oh, that's right. Got to adjust the stop order. So if you have a stop in place, so you see, I've got a stop in place at 38.50, which remember is where I bought it. So I've got to stop at 300 for 300 shares at break even, meaning if this thing falls apart tomorrow, I'm out at break even. So I made a few $100 on a third of it, you know, kind of finance the risk. Now I have no risk left. So I'm just going to replace this. I'll knock it down from 300 to 250. Review the order. Okay, attempt to replace. That's been replaced. All right, so let me go back to our positions here. Yen, sell 50 of them at the market. No sense getting fancy. Again, put about $2,000 back in the account. All right, good. Got that. Okay, so now we're down to 250 of them. All right, we're on, and this is kind of how I do it. I'm constantly trying to improve my worst case position. I'm constantly going, all right, put a few more dollars in the pocket, put a few more dollars in the pocket, raise and stop as you go. And so I'm always looking at the end of the day, what's the worst case scenario? If everything just falls apart, if the USA gets attacked and we go to war and the market just falls 1,000 points more, I'm stopped out on everything. How much money am I going to lose? Most people are fully invested and they have full positions with no stop losses. They're going to take a monster hit when that happens. I always want to be in a position where it's not going to happen to me. Okay. So this is CWEN. And let's see, I got a couple questions here. What are the green and red bars at the bottom? What do they represent? Okay, so these are just volume bars down here. Green is an up day, red is down day, simply showing you the volume. And by the way, if you guys haven't already, we're going to start doing these live sessions on a somewhat regular basis. I'm going to do them. Josh can do them. Anthony do them. So if you want to be alerted when those happen, hit the little like button down here below this video and just hit subscribe. And by hit subscribe, now you'll be subscribed to the Traders Agency channel. You'll get alerted anytime we do these. So if you want to catch the next one, you're free to do so. Also, if you are not yet a member of our Stealth Trade service, I encourage you to hit the link in the description down there. You sign up for like $5 a month and join us there. I'll show you what some of these. Well, we'll go over a couple of those stocks in just a moment. We'll look at our alpha stocks. Somebody asked, why aren't these alpha stocks trades? Some of them have been. I'll show our current alpha stocks positions. This one was not. Kevin, some of the trades, like the really low risk stuff I do with like a really tight stop, I often don't send those out on alpha stocks because, believe it or not, people don't want them. They get frustrated like it's a loser. I mean, if I risk 2% to make 10%, I could have 4 losers and 1 winner and still break even. So me personally, I'm comfortable taking a few 2 or 3% losses to try to get a big winner. Some of the members aren't as savvy and aren't as tactical with it, and they just like, why are you sending me 2, 3 losers in a row? I'm like, well, you lost 2% each time. Like, is that really bothering you? Some people it does. So we don't always do the super tight stuff. That's why I started to do some of these live sessions, and I'll try to put more of these trades in front of you. As far as our alpha stocks trade, so here's what we did. We did this one in stealth as well. How many of you guys took my recommendation to buy McKesson, MCK? If you did, you should be up 8, 9, 10% on the stock right now. Let's walk through this one just a bit. Again, very similar to most of the other setups we've seen. We got a big run up, big stage 2 uptrend. We get these pullbacks, gets a little deep, so 12%. And then 7, and then nice and tight right in here as we approach the breakout level where we bought. And then, of course, we got one little dip in here, but it didn't hit our stop because our stop loss is down here. Didn't hit our stop. It only came against us, 2.5%. And then it's just accelerated straight to the upside, around $30, $40 a share. So the beauty of this strategy and this approach is twofold. One, we're risking very little. In most cases, 6, 7, 8% maybe at the max. But we're trying to buy these stocks right at that explosive phase, right as they're making the big move higher. And you look at this chart, and do you want to own back here? Do you want to own where it goes down 10% and you're back to break even, you're down 12 and then it's back and you're up 2% and you're back and, oh my God, finally it's running? Or do you want to buy here and just give in for this period? And that's what we're trying to do. I like to use the analogy of taking a road trip. So if you're going on a road trip, it's you, and let's say there's someone else is driving and picking up you and like 3 other people. Do you want to get picked up first? Do you want them to snag you here? And then you got to go You got to go pick up, the other person. You got to go get gas. So you got to, fill the ice cooler up, go with the other person, bounce around. And then finally you're off on the road. Or you say, you know what? Run all your errands, do all this, and then pick me up here right on the way out of town. I mean, I'm selfish. That's when I want to be picked up. I just want to be there for the good times. And that's what we're doing with stocks. We're just treating these like anything else. We're just here for the good times. We only want to be there for the quick, explosive move higher. We have no interest in holding this. And, I think it's worth more. And I think there's a value play. And I think they're going to turn things around. There's a new CEO. And, the P ratio is very low. And that stuff will lose you more money than anything. You might as well just go blow it at the casino. Focus on the money flowing into the stock, finding a low risk entry point, finding a time to buy, and you risk very little. You potentially make a nice return very, very quickly. Another one says BJ. BJ, another stock we're in here in Alpha Stocks. And this one gapped up this morning on news. So similar approach here. Notice the big kind of resistance area right here at 71. You see where the sellers were? I mean, pretty obvious. There's sellers, and then tight, and we bought right in here. Stocks gapping up on earnings. Nice big volume spike on the way out. Will likely be the beginning of a trend higher in BJ. So I'll go over a couple others. I know you guys probably don't like seeing trades we're already in. I'll go over a couple others you can buy now. PWRs, I know we bought. Same thing here. See it? Shallowing. Little fake breakout, shallowed again. We bought right here. The stock is just now beginning to make its move up. It's up a few percent on this one. Not a big move yet, but I'm expecting a continuation, and especially once we get over about 146, 147, the stock will likely accelerate higher. MUSA, another one. Just took this one. Very, very low risk here. The pullback, 17%. About 6-7%, and then look at how tight it was right here before it's breaking out and now ripping. Having a little bit of trouble at that $300 mark. That's normal. The century marks, the $100 a share, $200 a share, $300 a share, fairly common to see a stock stall there because people just have a psychological attachment to those even levels. Like if you bought a stock at $217 a share, and I say, "Where do you want to sell?" You might say, "Sell it if it gets to 300." Or get out if it goes below 200. You got to say, sell it if it's to $302.14. Are you? So those big numbers, you just tend to see a lot of people kind of selling or buying, right in that level. So it often stalls. I'm not surprised here, but I'm looking for a strong move higher in MUSA. All right. Kakyan says he bought PWR options. Great trade idea. Fantastic. So you're probably up a decent little amount. It's going from 140, 145 in just a few days. So you've probably had a decent little return on those options. And the nice thing about trading options is, well, twofold. One, you can limit your risk. So you put a couple $100 in the option. If it breaks, if it goes down, lose a couple $100. Your risk is limited there. On the other side of it runs, you can make several 100% pretty easily on a 10, 15, maybe 20% move in the stock. Oh, thanks, Cody. Appreciate you saying that. Do I pyramid in? Cody, generally I don't. I generally put in the full position. What I will do, though, is I'll pyramid out and back in. So, for example, let's look at some of the recommendations we've done in the Stock Surge Daily we put out each week. So let's look at some of these that have like made good runs. OTTR, this is one we did, $70. Here to be at 80. KRYS, Zine kind of flopping a little bit. USA. This one hasn't broken out yet. Go back. So like here's Ions, right? So here's what trade we did. We bought, I recommended buying, on this move above $40. And this is what I generally like. This is what I want to see is something like this. So you see the initial move. You're going to begin to see this pattern just kind of in your sleep almost, but they're all going to be very similar setups. See the 30%, 17%, about 10%, 7. See the nice shallowing. You see why we buy right here when it breaks above that resistance and see how powerful it is. We weren't in for any of this crap. We weren't in for any of the bouncing. I recommended buying here at $40 or 40 and a quarter right there for that acceleration higher. So what I like to see happen You buy, it breaks out, good volume, you get a nice big move. In this case, stock jumps about 15, 16% in just a week, or really just like 3 days. And so what I like to do is maybe sell a third into a decent amount of strength. Okay. So let's say we sell a third on the push higher. And then I want to see the stock go through a natural reaction. Each of these are natural reactions here previously. So we know here, this is, I mean, just selling and then back and then back. And so when a stock runs higher, you guys know this, it doesn't do this, does it? Generally, I mean, the big picture, it kind of, it moves up like this, right? Each of these little dips is a natural reaction. It's people selling and taking profits on the way up. So what I like to do, sell into the first patch of strength, take a little bit off, wait for the first natural reaction, and then buy the next high. So for example, with this one, say a little bit off, maybe it comes, does something like this, and then I want to add back on. If it breaks out to new highs again, I'll add that third back in. And so what it allows you to do is keep exposure during those accelerating times, during the times you can make a lot of money. We get big action, big momentum to the upside, but you're still taking profits and shrinking your position in case it breaks down. Make sense? Okay, a couple others we're looking at. Dina, what do you say about NOC? I like NOC. Yeah, this is Northrop Grumman. NOC looks very good. And Dina, good for you pulling a fantastic pick here. Great job. You must be, I know you're a member with me. If you're finding stocks like this, this is a picture perfect setup. Big move up and compressing, shallowing, little deep here, but then a nice shallow little pivot right there at the end. Just now breaking out. So this is where you'd buy the stock, 480, 490, right in here. I think it's an active buy right now. Your stop loss, you'd want to be below the most recent swing low. Okay, so in this case, that's going to be right here, below the last time it stopped. And it just makes sense. The buyers bought up, the sellers sold it down to here. If it's going to run, if it's going to break out, and nothing's guaranteed, but it's going to run a breakout, it shouldn't come back down and violate this. So if we're buying on a breakout here, and our stop loss, always risk first, always, where am I wrong? Where do I need to sell if it comes down to? Because you're not going to be right 100% of the time. No one is. The best traders in the world are lucky to be right 50, 60% of the time. So you need to know where your risk is. In this case, right there. So if you bought here, or even at today's price, so just take today's price, you buy it right here, you're only risking 5.5% on this, Dina. Right? So how much you need to make? Well, for me, I want to take a piece off. I'm up twice my risk. So I'm risking 5.5. I want to try to get up 10, 11% to take some off. So that's going to be, right up in here, 540, 550. I should be peeling this thing off. I'd raise my stop to break even and free roll the trade. I've more than paid for it. I've guaranteed a win, and I have no more risk. Okay, he said Surge newsletters for public. Yeah. Just go to Stock Surge Daily. Also I send out this weekly watch list to my Stealth Trades members as well. This has got I kind of break each of these trades. Each week I send you an email. It's got 3 trades broken down, where I'd be looking to buy it, what the structure looks like, just to give you some ideas and put these in front of you each and every week, 3-4 picks. And a lot of these have made some big moves. So NOC was one we did a while back. The last few we did in phase, recommended buying it here, right? MCK, recommended buying here at the white line. CWCO, recommended buying. Ions, recommended buying right here. Are they all going to work? No, you'll have some that don't work. KNSL, recommended buying right here. I mean, this is just the last few picks. OTTR, recommended buying right here. KRYS. This is like in order. I'm not cherry picking any of these. All right, so this one went up a little bit. It's kind of fizzled back. So this one may stop out. Hard to say. Zine. This one made a nice little run, but it's pulled all the way back. So they don't always work out perfectly. There's MUSA. We're in right now. But yeah, all these with our I give every week to Stealth Trade. So again, there's a link in this video where you can just sign up. I think it's like $5 a month. It's absolutely nothing. We made this as cheap as we possibly could. Just have to pay the boys in the back and cover the software and our support staff that's there for you and everything else. So Kakyan Toms is surge. Yeah, it's 3 power call options up $465. Fantastic. Ned, looking at HHS. We'll cut off here in just a moment. We'll look at a couple more. HHS looks great. If you own it, that's wonderful. I wouldn't buy it now. It's very extended. I mean, the stock is up 50% in 2.5 weeks. But look at the setup here. And I hate to do this hindsight stuff, but I want to kind of train your brain to see these things going forward. And look at this setup here. So it's really textbook. It's no different than all the other charts I've been showing you. It's the same pattern. Okay, you get a push higher, it pulls back, and then shallows, shallows, shallows. And you want to buy when you get above this level. And that would be right here at 865. Man, I wish I'd seen this one. This is a wonderful stock, textbook setup, thinner stock. Wanted to trade a lot of volume. But look at the volume on the breakout. Look down here at the bottom of this chart. See how these last few days, if you look right here, look at these numbers, it'll show you the volume numbers. So this was trading 11,000 shares that day, 12,000, 5,000, 8,000, very, very low volume. And then look at a breakout day, boom, 55,000 shares, 35,000, 90,000, 110,000. This is just everything you want to see. You get the breakout, it immediately goes higher. You come in, you see 5, 10 times the volume you were seeing before. That's how you know you've got your hands on a monster, because that's everything you want to see. Supply is decreased, demand is increasing, it's surging on big, heavy buying, and just look at how powerful that move was. I mean, from right here where it broke out, the stock jumps up 27% in a week, it's up 75% in 6 weeks, and it's just kept on running. It's held above this 50-day moving average. You could have bought on and pulled back to it. And now the stock is up 95% in the 80 days since the breakout. This is absolutely a perfect textbook example. So really, really good. I'm going to add this actually to my examples list here to show people. Eternity's asking about Netflix, NFLX. Nope, wouldn't touch this one. Notice all the stocks we're looking at. Look at where they were before we bought them. They were trending higher. They're pushing against highs. They're showing high relative strength. And that's this line at the top of my chart. The relative strength line's pushing up. Compare that with Netflix. This thing has been crushed. What you're doing here is bottom fishing. Is it possible it goes up? Yes. The probabilities are not near as high for a big successful trade on a stock that has been just beaten to death, down 77%. Since late last year. So is it coming up now? Sure. But the odds, there's big odds of short covering this thing going further. And don't think a stock's going from 700 to 200. It's like, oh, it can't go any lower. I assure you it can. It can go to 150, it can go to 100. I don't care if you bought at 700 or 70. If this stock goes to $2, you've lost it all. John, what setting do you use for the TA plot volume? I've got this set. Let's see, I'll show you my settings. I've just got it. I've got the inputs here at 50 on the moving average period, 50 on the look back. And then here's the bars I've got selected. I have the 5-day pocket pivots turned off. I also have the volume dry up. I turn that stuff off. All I'm really leaving on here is just 10-day pocket pivot. So I'm just basically just when there's big volume. So just green volume, red volume, and average. And I just like to have this up-down ratio right here showing me over the last 50 days how much volume has been on up days versus down days. That's pretty much all. And once again, if you're just joining in here, we're going to be doing these live on a semi-regular basis. So do me a favor, just hit the like button. It's like a little thumbs up arrow on the page. Hit the like button and hit subscribe. And what that'll do is it'll notify you going forward anytime we do one of these live sessions. You'll get a little notification saying, hey, Traders Agency is going live. and you can pop over and join us for those. Doesn't cost you a thing. Just something we're going to start doing moving forward. Okay. All right. So I'll go through a couple others I'm watching that I like in here, kind of where you could buy these. CGen, I like a lot. It's a biotech stock, really, really strong, big, powerful move higher here. And now the stock is just sort of pulling back. It's compressing. It's pulled back a little bit here, but if I can get it up above, that what's the level here? 182. I think you got a strong play here in CGen of SGEN, push above 182. It's been showing weakness. MUSA, we showed you. It's a buy. Go to the other stocks I'm keeping an eye on. In phase, another stock did an traded in alpha stocks. This thing was just a freaking monster. I mean, it just surged 40% in 2 weeks. This is the kind of name you want to see. And notice the setup, no different than any others we've looked at. And up, tightening, 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 little pivot, buy when it breaks out, acceleration higher. This is the secret, folks. You're focusing on the strongest stocks in the market. You're focusing on the names that have the highest relative strength. So we want to see, like, we've been in a bear market as the ultimate test for these stocks. The market bottomed in June, mid-June. We're finding stocks. Look at mid-June. All right, let's do this real quick. I'm just going to show you real quick. This is the NASDAQ. Okay, look at the low. We know we've been in a bear market. No stock's been going down. This bottomed right here, June 16th, June 17th. Do you follow me on that? June 16th, June 17th. Remember that. Now let's go back at in phase. In phase, June 16th, June 17th. Look at this. We're within 10% of its highs. We're right here. Okay. So after the market bottomed, what? A week later, the stock is up here at highs. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the strongest stocks in the strongest sectors at new highs, showing all those telltale signs that the sellers have been worked through. We're about to break out and push higher. So NBIX, another, did a little day trade on this one. I did a video out to you guys today. Hopefully you saw that. I bought this around 100, made a few bucks on that one. MGPI, you're a little late on this one. MCK, how many of you guys took MCK and you're making money? MCK, sell or buy more. I would, if you have not yet, I would take partial profits. So I would sell a third to a half, and I would raise your stop loss to your break-even point. So we bought here at 336. Well, I recommended buying, I should say. I told my trader to buy here at 336. And hopefully you guys followed me and did that. So our stop loss was down here. We are now up, let's call it, even from today, 9-10% on this thing. So what I would do, and what I recommended doing yesterday, the day before, sent the message out, was to sell half or sell a third up in here. And then you take your stop loss, which was down here. So this is what we were risking. We're saying if it goes down there, you want to sell and get out. You raise that up to break even. So you go in your brokerage account and just go, set a sell stop order, good till canceled at, 335, 336, whatever you paid. So what that does is put you in a position where now, okay, I've sold half for a 10% gain. The other half, worst case scenario, I'm going to get out at break even. I'm going to make nothing. I'm going to lose nothing. So I've locked in a 5% gains position. If it goes up another 10%, I'll sell it more. If it goes up another 20%, I'll sell it all out. See, maybe you make 10% on the first half, you make 30% on the second half. Well, now you've netted 20% on the whole position, but you've improved your scenario to where your worst case is a 5% win. And if you can get in a volatile market like this, where, okay, worst case, I'm going to make 5%. There's worse places to be, right? DQ, another solar energy stock. Keep an eye on this one. See the compression happening? This is one I would definitely be looking to buy. Tightening. I'm expecting it to do this. I would consider buying this stock on a move above $72. This is where I'll be looking to get in. If I do that, assuming this thing plays out like I expect, put a stop, let this little swing low, be about a 10% risk. All right. RPRX, I told you about, got a position in this one, looking for a move higher. I think your stop loss, mine is pretty tight. Mine is like right in here, but you could put it down at $42 or so, risk about 5% on the trade, high probability of big move higher. AstraZeneca, another one, AZN, really, really good. Just what we want to see. Big stage 2 uptrend higher. Can't hold forever. Get the pullbacks. 13%, 7%. Look at this, like 2, 3, 4%. And look at how tight it is right in here. See how that's tightening up? You see how it's shallowing? And all I mean by shallowing is like where the low is down here, and it was here, and it was up here. Now it's holding up here. See how it's just, it sort of forms this, it forms this kind of wedge pattern against resistance. And this is what you want to see. This is the telltale sign that this stock is likely about to break out higher. And so am I holding through this? No, I have no interest in being around for the chop fest. I have an interest in buying when it's here and selling it up here and moving the hell on immediately. Just dating these stocks. I'm not marrying them. All right. BJ, we covered. VRTX looks great. I think this is a buy right here. Up, tightening, little breakout, getting a retest. So you get a second chance to buy this one right there at the breakout point, 294, 295. Don't need to risk a lot of money. And see if this one pushes higher. So that's kind of some of the stocks I'm watching. Any questions on these? And I know there's like a 30-second delay between me and the YouTube, so I'll give y'all a few seconds, but go ahead and type them in. Conchana talking about Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla real quick, and we'll get out of here in just a few minutes. TSLA. Tesla's starting to look good. Yeah, it needs a little bit more work, but notice we're overtaking the 200-day moving average, the white line. We're starting to push higher. This has been a downtrending stock. What I want to see in Tesla is sort of, I want to see it firm up here. I want to see it work through these sellers, form your resistance area around 950, $1,000, and that'll be buying on a move higher. I don't think it's quite ready yet. And when I say not quite ready yet, do not take anything I'm saying as stock definitely can't go higher here. Definitely not going to go up here. A lot of times I see stocks that are probably going to go higher, but I don't have an asymmetric risk reward ratio. I don't have a situation where I can risk 3, 4, 5, 8, 10% to try to make 10, 20, 30, 50%. And that is what it's all about. I will miss them every single time if they don't give me a low risk, high reward setup. Thomas, we look at First Solar, FSLR. First Solar is beautiful. I mean, what strength here? This is what I told you. I said the solar stocks are hot right now. I mean, let's look at them. Solar energy, alternative energy. Look at the solar stocks. Enphase, monster. Solar Edge, tightening up. First Solar, monster. Sunrun, monster. DQ, tightening up, getting ready. JKS, someone mentioned. This one, I was liking JKS so far, not seeing the strength. It's up. It's holding near highs, but I need to see this one tighten up a little bit more. Nova showing some strength. Canadian Solar, look at that. Stock's up 20% today on earnings. That's going to push them all higher. SunPower, look at that. Boom. $15 to $26 in less than a month. It's a 71% jump. So you don't want to look at these and go, oh, I missed it. Oh, I should have been in there earlier. Just look at this and say, hey, solar's hot. Remember, when institutions are building positions, when hedge funds and mutual funds and endowment funds, when they're building positions, they don't just go on E-Trade and type an order and they're in 10 seconds like we are. It takes them weeks and months to build their position. So if you're seeing this acceleration, just take that as, hey, this is where I need to focus. This is what's moving. This is where money's flowing in. Look at the volume. Huge spikes in volume on the way up. Enphase, same thing. Big push higher, big spike in volume. Look at Sunrun, big high green candles on the move up. SunPower, big move up, big volume. This is institutional buying activity. They are showing their hand. They're telling you where they're positioning themselves. And if you're not listening to this, if you're not focusing on this information and going, okay, I need an investment in solar. I'm not going to throw my money into all the stocks and cross my fingers and hope to God it goes up with no risk management. But I'm going to say, all right, I mean, hell, go to Google. What are the solar stocks? What are they? I've already done it for you. MAXN, ARRY, Nova, JKS, DQ, Sunrun, First Solar, Solar Edge. These are the ones you look. So we're just waiting for a nice, good opportunity. Take Enphase. You think, oh, I missed the move. Listen, if 6 months from now, this chart looks like this, you're not going to feel that you missed the move anymore. You're going to say, I was not late. I'm a dum-dum, right? So don't think because it just made a move higher, it's too late. If this stock does this again, if it tightens up here, give it another week or so of tightening, forms a resistance level, do not think I'm not going to be buying the life out of this thing again on a new breakout. Because a good stage 2 run higher, the beginning of a good bull market, a good surge, a market leading name, you can see this thing run 3, 4, 5, 600%. Go look at what Zoom did in 2020. Go look at what Peloton did. Go look at Apple and Google and Amazon coming out of 09, 010. Market leading stocks will run several 100%. Don't chase them. Don't just blindly buy it. But do not be afraid of a low risk setup because the stock's already up 50 or 100%. It can run 50 or 100 more, and it happens all the time. We're at the end of a bear market, beginning of a new bull. This is the time to be targeting these big opportunities. All right, meme, you're new to investing. You have 7 shares of Amazon. I don't know what to do. Okay, Amazon's firming up. I don't know where you bought it. It's you see it kind of form that same pattern off the lows. Now sort of tightens off resistance, breaks out here. Now it's kind of going quiet. I think Amazon looks okay. If you're looking for a long-term hold, Amazon, I mean, they're a great company. Probably one of the best ever been around. Should be fine there in Amazon. How do you know how to close the trade based on a 10% gain? For me, it's a percentage. It's a multiple of risk. So if I risk, like I've got trades I risk 2% on. If I do that, I'll get up 4 or 5 and start taking some off just to finance the risk, to give me a risk-free trade setup. If I'm risking 8 or 10%, I want to see 15, 20% gains before I take a third or a half off. Then I want to just let a piece run. And if I see big acceleration, a big explosive moves higher, just sell a piece on the way. And it's the way to lower your risk. You're decreasing your exposure, putting more profit in your pocket. It's selling into strength is what we call it. James, the difference between Alpha membership versus Stealth Trader, sign up for both. So Stealth is really an introductory level program. We meet weekly. I give you kind of some ideas. Alpha is really the advanced level. We're doing a lot more active trades, doing, generally 2, 3, 4 trades per week. They're more complex. You're getting alerts every single time. I tell you when a stock hits a buy point. I tell you when it hits a sell point, if it stops out, or taking partial profits. It's a much more actively managed service that I run. So let's take a look. Okay, those are all fine. JKS, how do you feel about Roblox now? Roblox, again, love the company. Just waiting for a high risk, low risk setup. I'm really in love with this stock when it was up in here and it started breaking down. And so people are like, why are you doing a promotion on Roblox if you're not telling us to buy it? Well, because I like the stock does not mean I'm just going to throw good money out there. If the technical signal is going down, I'm still going to wait. So I love the company. There's lots. I love Netflix, but the thing's down 70%. I'm not buying it. So we're just waiting on that ideal setup. So what I'd like to see for Roblox, I want to see the stock get up here above the 200-day moving average. If I'm really trying to time my entry, I want to see it get up above the 200-day. I want to see it form our little pattern, tightening up, work through sellers, give me some resistance, and identify a good breakout point. When we get that, you're going to have explosive opportunity in Netflix, I think. Because it's been so beaten down. When you get through that supply and this thing sets up in a potential breakout coming out of this bear market, there's going to be a lot of big opportunity on the upside. All right. Okay. Well, listen, we're going about 45 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I know we could go on for days answering questions, but listen, if you guys are interested in these kind of opportunities, if you want to join me, I go live every single week, every Monday. We do a 1-hour interactive session on Zoom with my Stealth Trades members. You can join for like $5 a month. The link is in the video description. Just sign up. You also want to be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Because I said, we're going to start doing these live events on a semi-regular basis. Just hit subscribe, hit the like. That way you'll get notified anytime we do a new event or post a new video. If it's something you're interested in watching as well. All right. So listen, appreciate all y'all being here. Have a great rest of your week trading, and I'll see you on the next live session.